What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my studios. Now, everybody is still talking about Andrew and his insult to the Mortal Kombat franchise from last year's Game Awards show, when he pretty much brought up how the fans don't care about the money. They don't care about money. They care about you and the money. Street Fighter Forever, as far as like going to the arcades in the early 90s, putting your 25-cent quarters inside a machine, beating the brakes out of one another in a game. Basically, trying to throw insults to the Mortal Kombat film and the cast and crew, and even actors and actresses took his comments to heart, and you know how social media reacts nowadays. So yeah, it says Mortal Kombat 2 star Lewis Tan wants a good rivalry with Street Fighter after Andrew Shulz jab. Mortal Kombat 2 star Lewis Tan wants a good rivalry with Street Fighter, the movie, after comedian Andrew Shulz made a jab at his sequel at the Game Awards show. The first Mortal Kombat movie arrived 5 years ago in 2021 during the pandemic and was released simultaneously in theaters and on HBO Max. Mortal Kombat 2 follows Cole Young and the other fighters as they recruit Johnny Cage to their cause to defend Earthrealm from Shao Kahn. The sequel isn't the only fighting video game adaptation heading into theaters this year, as Capcom and Paramount's Street Fighter movie is also on the horizon. Shulz, who plays Dan in the film, joked about Mortal Kombat 2 at the Game Awards show, said, "They don't care about you, they only care about money, okay? We care about money and you, Street Fighter Forever." Now, Tan says he wants to keep a good rivalry with the Street Fighter movie and had a spiky response to Shulz's insults. Tan opened up about Shulz's comments on stage at the Game Awards show and said that the comedian isn't in position to criticize the franchise. Andrew Shulz is the last person that should be talking S on stage. You know what I'm saying? Obviously not a fighter, not really an actor, really. He told Brandon Davis. Tan had plenty of praise for other members of the Street Fighter cast, calling Ryu star Andrew Kojai a great martial artist. Now, a lot of people said that Andrew should have been Fei Long instead of Ryu. I disagree. I mean, unless you cast Fei Long now, I'm sure Miss Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter, is going to probably have an issue with it, because you know, in the past, someone's tried to start some rumors about Bruce Lee's quotations in fighting games like Liu Kang, Fei Long, martial law. You know, any character that represents Bruce Lee is an issue with the Bruce Lee family, which was not true all along. So unless they cast an Asian actor who was a great martial artist to play Fei Long in the Street Fighter movie, maybe a sequel, who knows? But Andrew as Fei Long, I don't really see it. Yeah, he should have bulked up more, but guess what? He has the attitude, he has the personality of Ryu, so I say just give him a chance to see how things goes. But the Mortal Kombat 2 star said he finds the rivalry between the two franchises funny, explaining, "I think it's funny, and I also think people have been posting Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat this year, and I love it. I love a good rivalry, so let's go." We came out first, and I think during October. He also praises the first footage of Street Fighter, but pointing out that they'll find out who wins at the box office. "I saw the trailer, and the trailer looked awesome. I like the tone that they're bringing it to." See, he even thinks that I'm thinking, you know, they're leaning onto that cheese, but more fun at the same time. So I don't see an issue with why everybody is so hardcore on the Street Fighter franchise, as they expected this movie to be more serious, more dark and gritty. Like, come on. Street Fighter was never meant to be dark and gritty in the first place. Mortal Kombat has that right gritty tone to it, but Street Fighter, absolutely not. We'll see what's up. Numbers don't lie, and that's a fact. That's a fact. So here's the thing with Lewis saying. I feel like, to me, he has some points, you know, and I think when Andrew did, he pretty much sparked a whole drama between Street Fighter and the Mortal Kombat franchises and their fan base in general, because he shouldn't have did that, in my opinion, though. He should have just said, hey, you know what? We're going to have a good rivalry with Mortal Kombat. Let's see whose numbers go up in the box office. It's not really about what the critics think. It's about what the fans think. It's about what I think. And if I like the movie, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't. You know, but I'm not going to just sit there and, you know, be all hardcore and be all pissy about it like the movie is not in my favorite. No. But at the end of the day, I want both franchises to succeed, you know, let alone be better. And I think the Street Fighter movie is going to be a lot of fun. Yes, it's going to suck to some people, but guess what? As long as I enjoy it, you know, who cares what other people thinks? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like what Lewis saying had to say, because he liked the tone that they're bringing in, and bringing in that cheese and campiness to it. So, like I said, if you played the games in the 90s, I think you will know Street Fighter was always cheesy anyway. So it kind of makes sense. So, moving on. So at the end of the day, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat is the franchise that I grew up with in the 90s and all the way up to now. You know, I don't want to see no hardcore Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter fans go at it at one another. You know, I just want to see a good little rivalry, like good little fun rivalry. You know, like the 16-bit era with the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. You know, which console is better, which version is better. But at the same time, you know, these are two of the biggest franchises that you don't want to screw up. They're not going to screw up Mortal Kombat because of the trailers, and they're not going to mess up Street Fighter because it's leaning into that cheese. So it is what it is. You know, how y'all feel about this in the comments down below? What are your thoughts on Lewis's Tan's opinions on Andrew Shulz's insult on stage last year at the Game Awards show? Let me know in the comments down below, and even with the article, the link will be in the description.